Warning, the following video is just the opinion of a girl who likes to read for fun, but also likes to be critical every once in a while. None of the thoughts in this video are meant to attack anyone or yuck anyone's yums. I mean, seriously, I've been known to unironically love the selection series. Yeah. But disclaimers are stupid, so let's get into the video. I am 373 pages in, and I am not doing well. Darling? Maybe. Doubt it. I'm so bloody bored. They're British. They're British! My first gripe comes on page 2 when the main character confuses honey for blood. And as you all know, blood and honey are not of the same consistency. We're going to have fun with this, my dudes. I cannot get over this name. I'm sorry. If your name is Payton in real life, I'm so sorry, but I do not like this name. And the nickname, like the shortening, Pady? Could we not have chosen a different name? I'm not trying to be overly critical right out of the gate, 7 pages in, but I cannot stand the name. I cannot stand it. I've gotten to the point where I know that these people have powers, and the people with powers are the elite, and the people without powers are not. They are oppressed. And the thing I have a struggle with is all the names of these things. So there's different types of powers. Like these people are like X-Men is how I'm equating it. That's how I'm picking up what they're putting down. And so Kai, I think Kai is like, okay, another thing. He's like Heroes. You know that show back in the day? Save the Cheerleader, Save the World? There was a character on Heroes that was able to take other people's powers. That was his power. So he's like him. And was his name Silas? Yeah. And so he takes other people's powers. Miss Patey girl, she is not powerful at all. She's powerless. And she is masquerading as a psychic, which is a power nobody wants, because you only want offensive powers, apparently. That's how the hierarchy is going right now. But I'm getting off track. The thing I have a problem with is the names for these powers, because Prince Kai's father, he is a brawny, like the brawny man, and that's all I can see. It just seems like this author is trying to make me, like, she's trying to make it a gag. And I know she probably didn't mean it like that, but that's how I'm perceiving. Why is it that every YA novel has to repeatedly mention a character's either eyes, skin color, or hair? We've had several mentions of Adina, who's Payton's one and only friend. The fact that she has curly hair and hazel eyes and a brown complexion. Why do we need to be beat over the head that, yes, she looks like this? And then we also have, I was about to say Selena, because her hair is silver. We also have Payton's description of her silvery locks. I don't need to know more than twice, honestly. Once really is enough. Unless I'm not paying attention, and that's on me. I don't need it every few sentences. I really don't. I'll give you an example. We are with Payton's perspective, and this is chapter 10, page 75. And she's just been told, so Payton's just been told that she is going to be in the trials because she saved the prince. And now she's on the map, she's on the radar. And now they've said you have to go to the palace because in 2 weeks you're going to be training with interviews and a ball. Girl, Cinderella. And so she goes and runs to Adina because she has to, like, leave the slums in, like, 5 minutes. And this paragraph says, I skid to a stop in front of our little alley, blah, 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 blah. Every scrap of clothing piled beside her as she works, every curly piece of hair escaping the messy bun at the nape of her neck, her dark brows furrowed over hazel eyes in concentration. I already knew that, but thank you for the redundancy. Same page, further down. She tells Adina that she has to leave for the trials, and she's like, "What?" And Peyton says, "They're sending me into the trials. The people want me there, apparently. I'm rambling. For entertainment purposes, of course." Offers her a weak smile, but nothing can stop the look of horror from spreading across her face. And then she brings a soft brown hand to her mouth as she breathes. Okay, I don't need to know that. You could just say, she brings her hand to her mouth. I don't know. We met the contestants and had a little bit of a dinner. And then the thing I found so strange is that after the fact, we have, Peyton, Miss Patey lady, she met Kit. And honestly, I'm kind of shipping her and Kit at the moment. But then afterwards, she sits across from Kai, and she's like looking at all this food where she was sleeping in the gutters, and of course she's kind of angry about that. And then he's like, "You need to eat, girl. So do you need me to spoon feed you beans or something?" And so that happens. That has nothing to do with why I turned the camera on. He escorts her back to her room. They have a little moment. He sees her split lip from one of the Imperials, and he's like, "Oh, I thought that you couldn't be. I thought you were such a baddie that you couldn't be touched and couldn't be hit." And so she decides to show him that she can hold her own, whatever. But she's holding his blade to his throat, and she's drawing blood. And then at the end of this encounter, when they have their, well, they won't, they kill each other moment, and he's like, "Ooh, she held a blade to my throat. That was a real turn on." So this is not my romance. No, thank you. And I know that this book is repeatedly compared to The Hunger Games and Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and I can't speak to Red Queen because I haven't read it, but when it comes to the Hunger Games comparisons, I don't think they're very accurate. I don't think it's fair to compare the two, just because the Hunger Games is on another level, and I don't think it's that similar. You have a trial, you have a system where there are people who have way less than other people who have way more. I mean, if that's what you're gonna say is like, she's aping off of Suzanne Collins. No, I don't think that's the case. I will say that the plot so far is very thin. The characters are very thin. Like, it's all just very thin. So, is it as good as the Hunger Games? No, not at all. And I think that where it's also going wrong is the fact that we have two perspectives, and I can't tell which perspective I hate more. I really don't like Peyton's, but I really don't like Kai's. And I think that, I don't know, if the Hunger Games had dual perspectives, would I not have enjoyed it? I don't know. I don't think I needed Peeta's perspective, and so I'm glad I didn't have it. But would it have been a deal breaker? I don't think so. And also, for that matter, who is deciding who goes into these trials? I don't think that was explained at all. I have the world building, shoddy at best. So far, at least. I'm 101 pages in, and I don't know what's happening still. Another question I have, which is not the first time this has been uttered. I've seen other people talk about this too. Where are they supposed to be? What area of the world is this happening in? Is this in Britlandia? Is it in America? Is it in Australia? I don't know. From the way that Kai keeps saying darling, it needs to be somewhere with a posh accent, for sure. Otherwise, I can't allow it. Or it could happen in Texas. Darlin'? Maybe. Doubt it. Never mind. We've gotten to the talent show portion of the novel where we have Tila, who is basically Caesar Flickerman, and she is interviewing people. So It's it's very much so evoking Hunger Games. And if we are going to have a love triangle between two half brothers and Miss Patty, come on. But now I need to read Red Queen to see how close it is to that novel. And the only other thing of note here is that Jax is like, oh, what's his name? He's an X-Man. What's his name? Oh, the blue guy. Oh, he's Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler. Jax is just Nightcrawler, but not blue. And he's a Blink. And I cannot with these names. Also, the author should have put a key for all of the powers that people can potentially have, because I'm forgetting all of them. And then when they show back up, it's like, oh, they can do that, but I already knew that. I don't understand what these training scenes are. They seem pointless as of yet. It looks like they're all just showing off with their powers. One kid's doing push-ups on the ground. One girl is just copying herself over and over again. And Jax is just throwing rocks and then teleporting to catch the rock. I don't understand this book. I don't think it's for me. So now we're at the Yule Ball, and guess who's going to show up with a different shade of dress? I wonder who it could be. I'm really trying to give this a chance, but I can't when I have sentences that look like this. So we're in Kai's perspective. They're now in the trials. And they got a note saying, this is what you got to do. Stay in the game. And he is trying to scale a tree. And he has a fear of heights. Understandable. Understandable, my dude. We can't all be perfect. And there's a sentence that goes a little something like this. Falling to my death during a trial would be a pathetic way to die and would completely ruin my reputation, even in death. You're in a trial where the goal is not to kill people, but if we do, no skin off my nose. And you're thinking about your reputation. If you die, you would be embarrassed you would have died falling out of a tree. It's just stuff like that that makes it seem like it's a joke in this novel. And I'm really trying. Aha. Kai said, I'm so bloody bored. They're British. A lot of times people take issue with the way that men write female characters, which, fair. Some men write only for the male gaze. But a lot don't. But I would counter that with some women don't know how to write men, particularly young women. They don't know how to write men. And I will say that this is one of those cases because Kai is what the kids would call a simp. He has this whole monologue in his brain, of course. And he says, if Peyton is so determined to hate me, I can make it very, very easy for her. It wouldn't take much, but I'm selfish, weak, and unwilling to make it anything but difficult for her to push me away. She's bewildering as much as she is beguiling. That pretty mouth of hers says one thing, but those ocean eyes say another. She pulls a knife from my back only to say she'll bury another one there. She's confusing, captivating, and we're completely wrong for each other in all the right ways. She's a flame, and I'm going to get burned. An ocean, and I'm going to drown. What? Dialogue that actually just happened. Peyton just got stabbed, and she's bleeding out and dying, and she happens to stumble upon Kai. And what do you know? Someone dropped a healing box with a sewing kit in it. So, of course, he's going to care for her and sew up her wounds. He's also going to ask her questions whilst doing so. And one of the things that happens in this conversation is Kai goes, I'm going to ask again, who did this to you? Which, that's something else that the girlies love to see. I've seen thereabouts, here and there. They love seeing who did this to you. But what she says is, "Why do you care?" And then it says, then she's laughing bitterly, the sound vibrating under my fingers. And then Kai goes, "Because I don't tolerate my toys being played with." No, no, no. At the risk of being too negative, we're going to sprinkle in something I do like about this book, which is I actually do like Peyton's character. I think I like her character. I mostly like her power that's not really a power because she's an ordinary, but she's masquerading as a psychic. But her dad taught her to be a psychic because it's basically just being good at reading people. So I enjoy whenever they pull out the she needs to make everybody believe that she's not an ordinary. Like I like those chapters where we talk about that because she's just smart. And that's about all I like about her character so far. But you know what? I'm only 221 pages in. If these trials are so serious and so deadly, why are we dancing? Why are we dancing? Listen, I like witty banter and repartee as much as the next woman, but it's just too much. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay, I mean business. Today we are finishing Powerless because a YA novel has no right to take me this long to finish. A YA novel for me should be finished in maximum 2 days. Maximum. It's been 3. So, we're going to hunker down and we're going to get her done. The glasses are on. That's how you know I mean business. Is the intent here to show that Peyton is capable of defending herself and is capable of doing anything she wants to and is so super strong and doesn't even need powers? Is that the intent? Because if so, it's not coming across that way. Simply because she's almost been killed twice. And Kai has rescued her. So that makes me think, yeah, everyone needs powers in this society. You cannot be an ordinary and survive. That's what's making me think. Like, why can she not save herself once? Like, she almost got beat down by Sadie. And Sadie basically just has the power to copy herself. She doesn't have any strength. Also, and this is very petty and very, like, nitpicky. Why's the black girl gotta die first, huh? I'm just kidding. So the first trial is over, and I'm not sure how many more trials there are, but this first one was very Hunger Games-esque, and only one person died. That makes it so much less, like, intense. Sadie was the only casualty. We almost had Jax as a casualty, but Lauren Roberts said, no. She said, "Gotcha. You thought he was dead, but I'm just going to have, what's his face, Kai, go up to the audience and steal a healing power," which I think is really convenient. Don't you think? I kind of wish Jax had died. It would have been more, like, gritty. Not enough grit in this book. Okay. I wonder what the next trial will be. These homies are watching the instant replay of said first trial. And Miss Lauren Roberts, again, pulls another Suzanne Collins. She says, "There's movement." This is while they're watching Sadie's death in said trial. There's movement flickering across the crowd as the audience around us presses their pointer and middle fingers together, the symbol hovering over their hearts. A diamond, Iliad's image of strength, power, and honor. They are paying their respects to the fallen. I probably would have liked this book better. I'm not finished with it yet, but I probably would be enjoying myself more if this book was just edited better. Like, there are some word choices that I don't understand. And they have me stopping and slowing me down from reading and enjoying and, devouring the book, because I keep slowing down to go, does that word really make sense there? Like, Pae and Kitt have a little, like, water fight in the fountain, and they're playing in it, blah, 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 and this sentence gets said, the very last one in the chapter. I'm still wiping sticky strands of hair off my face when I say this was not a very fair fight. The thing in that sentence that I don't understand is sticky. I don't think I would have used that word there, because water doesn't make anything sticky unless it's filled with something other than water. Water doesn't make your hair sticky. I don't understand that sentence. Maybe it makes sense. Maybe it's perfectly fine and valid, but in my brain it doesn't make sense. And there's a lot of instances in this book where the word choice doesn't make sense to me. And I think that, like, another thing, Kit throws a grin behind him, or throws a grin behind his shoulder. I don't understand sentences like that, because you can't literally throw a grin across your shoulder. You can't do it. So I think this book is just not written for me in my taste. And it could also be probably 200 pages shorter, because there are a lot of instances where it's more of a romantasy than a fantasy. And that's why I don't like romantasies, because I'm more of a fantasy reader, because I find that fantasy authors just naturally put romance into their novels because that's a part of life, and fantasies are trying to show you, like, the fantastical elements, something that's like a escapism, but there's real life, sprinkled in, and everything is rooted in real life. So I find that romantasy authors, they just focus on the romance, and then everything else is pretty weak. And that's what I'm finding here. Because even, like, books that I love, like In the Name of the Wind, that has a romance in it, but it's very light and it's very palatable. And what's another fantasy that has a romance? The Will of the Many has a little bit of romance, but it's tasteful. What else? Scott Lynch's The Gentleman Bastard series, a little bit of romance. Even Brandon Sanderson throws in romance very seamlessly. So I think that romantasy as a genre should just go away. Sorry to all the romantasy people. If you made it this far in the video, you know that I'm not going to be on your side. 300 pages in, and we've now gotten to the plot of the book. We've gotten to the meat and potatoes. And the plot is that there's a resistance, and they're full of ordinaries and the outcasts of the, like, power hierarchy. So people that have powers that the king maybe doesn't want, like just running around willy-nilly. And the resistance is meeting at Payton's old house. They knew her father. Her father was part of the resistance. Basically led it, I guess, before he died, before he was murdered. And they want her to they want her to figure out how to let them into the bowl of the trials. Like, the last trial is going to be held in the bowl. And to do that, she has to cuddle up to Kit. Now, that's going to be a problem, because Payton and Kai have been growing closer and closer. So, of course, haven't read it yet, but I'm assuming, you know what assuming does to you. I'm assuming that Kai's going to get jelly, lime green jello. And that's the plot. I'm trying, you guys. I'm trying to continue and have an unbiased opinion. I'm really trying. Payton and Kai are having this archery competition, and it's so irrelevant to the story. And all I can think of is how weird it must look like for people to watch them basically, like, touching and teasing each other while trying to do something serious. I can't. It's just, I, like, imagine it. Please imagine it. You imagining it? Exactly. It's weird. It's weird. Another question I have, what time period is this book taking place in? Because now we're having a thumb war, of all things. But, I don't know, when was the thumb war invented? Comment down below if you know what the genesis of the thumb war is. Because I have no idea. I have no clue. But I hate all of these, like, it's like action and then silly romance. Then action, then silly romance. Fluff to distract. Then action. Like, we just had the second trial, and the second trial was, in my opinion, stupid. They climbed a mountain as a team, and then Andy got bit by a snake. We didn't even figure out if Andy's still alive. I would like to know. And then throughout that, they climb up the mountain, both teams, and then to be told, psych, you're not on a team, the first person to capture the flag wins. Have at it. And Ace almost gets killed by Peyton, but then she's like, Kai, this is your kill. So she lets him kill him. But then, after the fact, we don't even figure out. So here's the thing. Lauren Roberts only tells us certain things. And then later on, she'll tell us what happened while that thing was happening. So while we were getting Peyton's side of the story, where Ace and Peyton have this battle, and then she ends up going to go capture the flag. But then Kai tells us later on that Blair kills Braxton only because Blair was aiming with her tele powers, which I don't know how you pronounce that. Tele. Telly? I don't know. She ends up killing Braxton because Kai moved Braxton into the line of fire because Blair was aiming for Peyton. So again, Peyton almost got. I am 373 pages in, and I am not doing well. Okay, we finally reached, oh my gosh, I look so bad. We finally reached the last trial, and it looks like it's going to be a maze, which I like a maze. I do. I enjoy mazes. This one is a maze that changes. So the people in I don't know who it is. Someone's going to be moving the maze. So it's not going to be like, just go in and like, bop around. No. We're going to be switching it up on the contestants. So the first person to reach the end of the maze, and to kill the person at the end of it wins. Now, the maze, it's been done before. Nothing to phone home about. But I am curious about who we're going to have to kill at the end of this maze. That is an interesting little aspect to throw in there, Lauren Roberts. So, pats on the shoulder. That is kind of interesting. What I do not like is that Peyton and Kai are like flicking the air before we go into the maze. Like their little thing. Apparently their thing is flicking each other on the nose. So they're like, good luck. And that's not very cute. I find Andy's shifter powers very intriguing. I actually like that power, but I don't understand how she keeps her clothes. It really should be Twilight style, in which the wolves, they're just kind of like always wearing jean shorts and then always having to buy new jean shorts, if you know what I'm saying. So I don't understand that power. Let's talk about the powers. I like certain powers. Like I like Kai's power. I think it's fun that he has that ability. I don't know how rare it is. Like how many other people are, I don't know what his power is called. I can't remember. But I don't know how many other people in this society have that power. But I think that's cool. I think the silencer power is cool. I would love to have the... okay, so here's what I'm saying. I like powers where they're very mental or cerebral. So I would love to read people's minds. I would love to be a blink like Jasper. No, that's Twilight. Jax. I would love to be a blink. I would love to. That's about it. Wait, have we seen anybody who has a power of flight?
I don't know. We just learned about blooms that can control foliage. So that's cool. And and I do like the tele power that Blair has. Ooh boy, I had a feeling it was going to be Adina at the end of the maze. That's terribly predictable. But I understand it. I'm not saying that it's like, oh, that was a bad choice on the author's part. No, I understand it and it makes sense. Especially because the king would want to toy with Peyton. Duh. It's a good choice. It's a good choice. This is not me snarking on that. Okay? Well, that's going to throw a wrench into the romance now, won't it? I mean, I'm not shocked that that was the case. I kind of figured it was going to happen like that. Okay. I finished it. And I don't have a lot of thoughts. Um, I don't believe I will be reading the sequel. I don't believe I will. Um, what did I not like about this? I just feel like I could tell that it was originally self-published, and I don't feel like it got picked apart with like a fine-tooth comb that it needed. Like that I think this book was done dirty by its editors. And because it became traditionally published, I feel like it should have gotten the love and care of an editor because I feel like it would have benefited from it. But so the last few chapters, we just had the resistance coming in and tearing everything apart, and we have Peyton reeling from the fact that Adina is dead now, and so she goes to retrieve the vest that Adina said, wear the vest, Peyton. And while she's over there, she encounters the king, and of course the king doesn't like her, so obviously he's going to try and kill her. And for whatever reason, he becomes a little too cocky, and he doesn't just outright kill her. He decides to take his time with her, and during the process tells her that he didn't kill her father, because she assumed that it was the king that killed her father at this point. But it was actually Mr. Mr. Malachi. That was his first assignment. And that gives her some kind of like strength of will, and she ends up killing him. So Kai has seen that she has killed his father. He is, for whatever reason, unhappy about that, because I was under the impression that he didn't give two craps about his father. So I'm confused as to why he's so butthurt about it. Like, I know that it's his father, but he still got a mom, and he didn't like his father. Now, Kit, I understand why he's on this war campaign to grab Peyton Gray, because now he's got no family, and he actually did like his daddy. So the book ends with Peyton on the run. Kai has let her go because he's like, "You've ruined me." And now Kit is the king. Yay! Kit's the king, and so now Kai is his official enforcer, and his first order of business is to bring me Peyton Gray, enforcer. And that's it. I'm giving this a 2-star. And I feel like a mean girl, but it had to be done. I didn't like it, and that's my prerogative. That's my power. I'm allowed to not like it. And I feel bad because I feel like I didn't give it a chance because it started off so poorly. Like, there were moments that I was like, ooh, okay, kind of. You could, if it had been written better, it could have gotten me. But, yeah, I would not recommend this book. I'm sorry to say, I would not recommend it. But if you like books like Fourth Wing, this is a very, like, Fourth Wing, I'm assuming Jennifer L. Armentrout, which, listen, I used to read Jennifer L. Armentrout before. I read the Obsidian series. I got pretty far into it. Yeah. So if you like stuff like that, she has a romantasy series. You probably would like that. You probably would like this as well. And it's not like I don't like certain YA novels, because Of course, I grew up on YA and I still read it occasionally. Like I still love the Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. I still love The Mortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare. I still love Divergent, like The Hunger Games. Love The Darkest Minds. Love. I still can appreciate those novels. I just feel like they were more. There was more depth to them. This one felt a little shallow. So, but if you just want an angsty romance and like a little fun, fantastical element with like powers and like, it's fun for sure. It's just not, there's not a lot of substance. I do have to give it brownie points though because it doesn't rely on smut because I don't know what's happening in YA right now. I don't know if smut is being heavily employed, but there were like I feel like if you're trying to market this towards teens, I feel like there were very age appropriate scenes. I don't care if books marketed towards teens have cussing, so if you do, there are quite a few cuss words sprinkled in, but there was nothing too sexual in the book. So I enjoyed that because I feel like that has been overly used in publishing or in novels as of late. So I do have to say, good job on it. It has a nice slow, is it slow burn? It's insta love, but it's slow burn. And that's my piece. That's what I'll leave this video off on. If you got to the end of this video, thanks. If you don't hate me, thanks. And yeah, thanks for watching. And let's see what I read next. All right, bye.